Today's video, we're going to be talking about the connection between mental health, time, and use. So to start off, I got a great question on Instagram, which was, hey Spencer, when has your mental health not been at its best? And can you walk us through that? And, I've started going to the gym. And so I got the gist of the question. And basically, to answer your question, of course, all of our mental health is it's on a roller coaster. We're guided by emotions. Humans are extremely emotional creatures, and this is something that we can't really control. This is just how we are, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with being guided by emotions, but there's a certain time when there's things that we're going to kind of talk about. So to start off with men in particular, we are taught not to talk about our emotions, not to talk about mental health, and this is how I was raised. This is how you can see the world operates. And to be clear, I actually don't think that this is a bad thing. And this isn't some macho man, you need to be a man. No, absolutely not. You need to be able to feel your emotions and let them breathe, let them pass through you. That is an amazing thing. But the problem is when people are told, especially by women, because this is the thing, women experience emotions much more differently than men. Men and women are fundamentally different. We have different jobs on this planet, right? And so the problem is when you get all these women trying to tell men how to feel, how to think, how to act, it doesn't work. Men, we are our role is different. We are protectors. We are here to provide. And so there are so many situations, biologically, where if someone breaks in your house at night, if someone, busts down, there's someone pulling over there, if someone busts down your door in the middle of the night, you can't just sit there and cry. You would be dead. Your whole family would be wiped off the face of the planet, and that's that. So we are biologically trained to be a little bit more impervious to, we're much more logical and reason. We see this problem, we need to fix it. If a problem arises, this is why emotion is very looked down upon with men, because the more emotional you are, the less good at solving problems you're gonna be, which is what we are here to do. We are problem solvers. This is why, men we are naturally just leaders. We are the captains of ships, planes. I mean, you'll see this right now. People are always worried about female pilots and stuff. It's because women just don't have a history of guarding their emotions very well. And this is completely fine. This is natural. And I'm not saying either of these are wrong, because, I'm married, I have a kid, and when my wife can tune into my son's needs so much better than I can. And so that is why that we are so different, and different is a good thing. So to go back to mental health and why I kind of talked about time in the beginning, I want to kind of just go down that route for a second here too, because for me, mental health has always been some sort of thing that I don't have, some reason I'm not happy. And it's always, like I mentioned, it's always emotional, because this isn't perfect, I don't have this. And it always comes with a factor of time, because we humans, we perceive time, we think of it as this linear scale, right? We think of these minutes are ticking by. I mean, today's daylight savings time, for crying out loud. We think we can control time, but time is just a human creation. It's a human function. If you read the Bible, you see that Jesus and God has a completely different perception of time. And it's a really interesting thought experiment when you think about Jesus and you see all the stuff he did. Some of his most amazing things that people were just like, whoa, was he just simply perceives time a little bit different. He can see in the past and then into the future. So it's the fourth dimension, right? Is time. So we humans we're trapped in 3 dimensions and such. And so the fourth dimension is something that we don't really perceive. And this is where a lot of problems pop up. I want to make this money by this day. I want to do this by this time frame. I remember back in school, I took a philosophy class, and we were arguing with our professor about cause and effects. If you do this, this will happen. And I remember being so firm in my belief that cause and effect is 100% truth. And obviously, for the most part, it is. If you're in space, if you're an astronaut, you take off your helmet, you're gonna die. But there is a lot of we don't really know exactly why you died. We don't necessarily know. Obviously, we could go into maybe oxygen killed you, or maybe freezing, but there's a lot of, the point is there's a lot of different things. We don't know necessarily what is going to happen when we do any certain action. I could drive down the street, I could get hit by a car, I could, get to my destination safely, and more. The point is, there's an infinite amount of possibilities the second you step out of your house in the morning, or the second you wake up and are alive. Like looking around, it's a beautiful day. It's like a little bit of clouds, but it's beautiful. And we're just experiencing this. And to go back to mental health again, I'm just kind of looping around. This is just kind of how my brain works with, ADHD and all that sort of stuff. So looping around, I believe that we aren't put here, especially men, we're not put here to talk about our emotions and seek wisdom from others. Like talking to your wife when you are not here mentally, bad idea. Even sometimes to your friends. You can obviously, if you have a problem and if you are in a state where you need to talk to someone, absolutely. But there is so much that I believe is put here for us, like nature. If you step outside, you breathe the air, you look around, you hear the birds, and you just pause. These things will heal you. It heals your brain. You realize that nothing out here really fucking matters. Like we think of time, we think of, oh, I need to do this and that, I need to go to this appointment next week, when all that's just, it's fake, it's made up. We just all collectively agreed based on how fast it takes a certain light particle to get from here to there. That's how we quantify time, is it takes this light this much to get over here. That's a second. I don't remember exactly how much or what light it is, but the point is, it's all made up. So stop having these expectations for yourself of I need to do this, I need to do that, and putting these unfair causes and effects into your life that don't necessarily need to be there. Because the second once you kind of break free from this and you let things happen to you and you just allow this freaking spinning ball of rock to just do its thing. This has really helped me a lot in the past, because we'll keep going back into mental health. Humans, we just want to control things. We want to control everything. And this again is a biological thing. We want to be able to control, having all the basic needs, food, water, shelter, all these things. We want to be able to control this, when in reality, we don't control any of it. We can't control if there's a good year of crops and the farms aren't going to fail. We can't control if our house doesn't burn down, if our family gets sick, or any of this stuff. And I know that's a really downer message and people don't like to hear that, but that's just how it is. That's not necessarily neither right nor wrong. That's just how life is. We've evolved in this quote unquote Goldilocks zone on Earth, but I know this is getting kind of very transcendental. I don't know if that's necessarily where I meant this conversation to go, but I think it's very important when you kind of step out of your bubble, because that's what it is. When you're in your own brain, it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to be worried and scared and full of fear. This is another point in the Bible. Starting to read the Bible has also really opened up my mind into, what did Jesus say the most? Do not be afraid. Do not fear. All those, the basic needs we have, food, water, shelter, air, oxygen, loving relationships, family, all the needs, we're always afraid that we're not going to have them. And so this fear really keeps us back from actually enjoying the things that we do have. Because when you look around, all that stuff is free, right? Going out in nature, I can breathe freely, water falls from the sky, there's trees. If I so choose, I can cut the tree down, build a house. Obviously, life gets very complicated. We're told that you need to get the nice car, you need to be in a mansion, you need to have a pool. We're told that we need all these things to be happy. And if you don't have these, then you're a failure and you shouldn't be happy. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's absolutely wrong. Just step outside. You can see it's the truth. You can see, you can feel, you can experience the light that is out here. And we could talk a whole nother discussion about light. I love the concept of everything. Everything comes from the sun. We're just here. It's an infinite source. It's an infinite source of light that powers all of us. And so there's literally zero lack in the universe. There's infinite. There's more energy than you or I will ever be able to access or use. The only thing that we're limited by, because again, we're three-dimensional beings, is time. We don't have time to experience all that. So that could lead into a whole other discussion about what happens when we die, what happens to our personal energy, our soul, if you will. Where do we go? No one knows. So that is kind of the whole point, though. No one knows. We're all just here experiencing this life. And so those are the type of things that I think about when I think about mental health. And if you want me to list them off, first off, get outside. Allow the energy to move through you. Allow the sun to warm you. Breathe the clean air. These things don't just, they help you because there's an infinite amount of energy. The reason you're feeling bad, the reason you're feeling depressed, down, sick, it's always when you're inside and when you're laying down, when you're just being still and you're not experiencing yourself and you don't feel in control. Another reason why going to the gym is awesome is it puts you in more control of your body. You can control more of how you look. You can get bigger, stronger, where you're able to control your environment a little bit better. But then again, none of us really can. We spoke in another video about if you've ever been on a boat. A big boat, small boat, doesn't matter. If you go into the ocean, you realize very quickly that we do not have control over anything. It's a very humbling experience. I would highly recommend any of you go out into the ocean, onto obviously a safe boat, have a life jacket, but you'll very quickly see that we are all just here because of some infinite luck. There's trillions of things that had to happen for you to be put here. I can't remember the exact math on it, but there's millions of sperm. Your parents had to meet at the exact right moment. So we're all just here. We're all just enjoying life. And so I hope this helps you with your own journey in mental health. And like I said, this isn't a bad thing to talk about, but you have to know what you're trying to achieve when you're talking to someone. Are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking to confide in someone? Awesome, that's cool. But if you're really just experiencing those other bad things, the other seats of fear, it's not necessarily going to help when you put that onto someone else, right? The best thing you can do is find that in with you. As Jesus said, the kingdom of God is already within you. It is within you. So that is today's message. Again, if you guys like this message, ask me more comments down below. I'd be happy to answer it. Go ahead and into it on the next video. Like, follow, subscribe. Obviously, I run a home service business where we use software to grow people's businesses, and we have a full group. So if you guys want to get access to that, it's going to be linked down below. I'll see you guys there. Let's get it. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spencer Clay Show. That's all for now. See you in the next episode. Peace.